Let's create a dreamy, loose watercolor card today. Hi there everyone, welcome to Creative Coloring with Erum. Today I have a loose watercolor card to share with you. All you have to do is drop in pigment and let the water do its thing. You can move around the pigment if you want to control the outcome. I will use the Craft Your Life Project Kit Garden Whispers. I'm using hot press watercolor cardstock. This is trimmed out of the 5x7 watercolor cardstock. I will use embossing ink to stamp the images and then use pure white embossing powder to cover the panel and heat set this. I'm using white embossing powder because I want a beautiful, dreamy looking watercolor scene. White and clear embossing powders are perfect for this look. I will use the artist watercolor tubes to color my panel today. You can use a larger brush to apply water to the area. Here I'm using one of the fine watercolor brushes, size 1. And starting by applying water to the flower and the area around it, I will add pink pigment. This will be diluted and I will spread it around. Once I have covered the flower, I will add slightly concentrated pigment and pull the pigment out of the flower. If this is something that will look good, especially if there are no leaves around. To add a second tone to the flower and also to link the pink color to the green of the leaves, I will bring in yellow and add that to the tips of the petals. I will also extend this yellow outward to the background, spreading it to the leaves and even beyond them. Think of this as underpainting. Right now I'm adding color everywhere. However, I will introduce concentrated pigment, but I will already have color in the background, ensuring that everything looks cohesive and intentional. I will color the rest of the flowers similarly and then move to the leaves, where I will add green and yellow pigments. As I said earlier, the yellow will tie pink and green together without creating much of the brown pigment. I will add color to the leaves in the same manner. At first, I will add a light pigment, which will be mostly water, and then coming in again with more pigment. The best thing to do is to use multiple paint brushes so you don't waste pigment. And also you can switch brushes. I have one brush with yellow pigment, one with green, and one with clean water. I add pigment and soften it with clean water by spreading it outward or picking it back up. You will also notice that I will intentionally add pigment outside the image, which adds a lot to the dimension of my one layer card. Loose watercoloring is one of the easiest watercolor techniques, but I know a lot of people struggle with loose watercolor as one has to let go of the control, which some people find difficult. So I will repeat this, and it is for those who have reached out to me so many times. We will go over this coloring again. Here, I will take a round brush. This is size 2. You can take whichever size suits you. All we need to do is apply water to the area so the pigment that we will drop in flows easily. Next, drop in the green pigment, roughly following the shape of the leaf, and spread it around, not worrying if it spreads outside the leaves. Add a few dabs of yellow here and there for variation, as I'm doing. Now, while it is still wet, go back in to add a darker pigment. Again, don't worry if it goes out of the line. Since it is wet, it will diffuse. But if it doesn't diffuse, you can take your clean brush to soften the edges. Here I want to make the leaves darker, so I added more green pigment by repeating the process. And when I did this, the last time, I brought in the yellow, which again I added in a way that it went outside the leaves as well. Once I'm happy with my leaves, I can build my background or add more detail to the florals or the leaves. This is up to me. But I thought the leaves needed a bit more depth, so I brought in a deeper green pigment and added it to the base of the leaves. But I used my clean brush to soften it. The intention is to create a dreamy card, but still for the leaves and flowers to stand out from the background. So you can change the tone of the green a bit by adding a bit of mossy green to the base or Payne's gray to the background. I will just drop in some yellow for the flower centers and spread it around, softening it. While this is slightly damp, I will add splatters of the mossy green pigment and then clean up any extras that are on the flowers. Once the panel is dry, I will add black paint splatters. These will be super duper fine and add to the texture. After this, I will adhere the panel to the card base and pop the sentiment. The supply list is mentioned in the description. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If there are any products or techniques that you would like to see in the upcoming videos, please let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Hello there! Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye!